In 1918, the Chicago White Sox did something that the world had never seen before and still hasn't seen. They lost the World Series against the Cincinnati Reds on purpose. They later became known as the Chicago Black Sox because of what they did. The main points are why they lost the World Series on purpose, how they managed to lose on purpose, and the result of them doing that. Arnold Rothstein was the world's biggest gambler at the time, and he came to about 8 of the Chicago White Sox players and offered them $100,000 to distribute between all of them. His plan was he was going to bet $500,000 on the Cincinnati Reds to win the World Series, and giving the White Sox players $100,000. He was going to give that to them if they lost the World Series on purpose. So in the end, 8 players agreed to make sure they lost. Now back then, $100,000 was not a lot of money, especially if you're distributing it to 8 guys. But back then, $100,000 was a lot different than $100,000 now. And a lot of the players were hesitant to help with this plan because they didn't know if they'd get paid. Then, when the game started, the first 2 games they lost 9-1 and 4-1. And the players that were not involved in the deal were beginning to be a little hesitant because they knew they were good because they made it to the World Series, but now they were losing. And even the Chicago White Sox catcher noticed something wrong with their pitching. A lot of the players had second thoughts because after the first 2 games, they were supposed to get paid $10,000 after every game. But after the first 2 games they lost, they hadn't seen any of the money. So the players began to wonder if they were going to get their money or not. So due to that, the 3rd game, they won 3-0. So as the series went on, in game 4 and 5, they lost again. They lost 2-0 in the 4th game and 5-0 in the 5th game. Now back then they played 9-game series, not 7-game series like today. And the way they would lose is the pitchers would throw balls and walk people. The fielders would make errors, and the hitters would strike out, the ones that were involved. Now, after the 5th game, the gamblers missed another payment, and the White Sox players realized they had no reason to lose. So, in Game 6 and 7, they ended up winning. They won both of those. Then, Arnold Rothstein threatened the Chicago White Sox because he'd bet $500,000 that they would lose. So the final game, this is the 9th game. Claude Williams was the pitcher, and he made sure they lost. He played really bad. So after the game, they ended up getting paid, and after a while, rumors started going around that they lost on purpose. So they ended up going to trial, and the result of the trial was no jail time. They just got banned from Major League Baseball, so they never played Major League Baseball again, and they'll never be in the Hall of Fame. So, but they did get their money. So in conclusion, this is something that sports will probably never see again, people losing on purpose. You may see people cheat in other ways, but I don't think people will ever lose on purpose again. Probably because they get paid a lot as it is and they don't need to. So the White Sox players, in conclusion, the White Sox players worked with the mob. They lost the World Series for money and then were banned from Major League Baseball. Thank you.